What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So like I said before, we got all the suspension parts painted from the last video, and the truck is here today, and we're gonna be installing this lift. And unfortunately, it's a little cold today, and my current garage setup, the truck most likely after I get the lift and stuff on it, it probably won't fit out the door, so we don't want that. So we're doing it in the carport. I got tires pulled off on the front right now. I'm waiting on my brother to come. He's got the bigger jack stands, so it's just for now to get the tires off and I can start tearing it down. So that's that. We'll go ahead and get this all tore apart, and then I'll pick up back with y'all when it's time to start putting the new stuff on there, because it ain't that much to watch to tear it apart. It's gonna be cool watching the new stuff go on this. So stay tuned and keep watching the video. All right, y'all. Well, like I said, I wasn't gonna film me like tearing it apart because this ain't like a how-to video or nothing. So I got some of the parts laid out up here. The rest of the stuff that's painted is back in the boxes so they wouldn't get messed up. But I got everything tore apart. So there's nothing there. Got control arms out, struts, front diff, the power steering rack, axles, all that good stuff. Only thing getting used out of this pile is gonna be the lower control arm is gonna be reused. Everything else is getting replaced. So yeah, so I think when I filmed the first part before I started tearing it apart, it was, I don't know, it probably took me like a good 2 hours to get everything tore apart, but I'm not in a rush. My brother stopped by and hung out for a little bit and whatnot, but like I said, I'm not in a rush. It's cold outside, so just trying to get it done little by little. So we got everything all tore out now. Next thing I'm gonna start doing is I got a little bit of trimming to do. There's a ear off of the front differential that has to be cut off, and then there's an ear that has to be cut off the frame where the original rear crossmember went. So we gotta cut that off so we make way for the differential to drop down into its new location once the new drop brackets are put in. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll get back with y'all once I have some of the new parts hung, and then maybe I'll do a time lapse of reassembling everything else. So let's get it. All right, y'all, it's a little while later now. I had to do some trimming on the frame, like I said before. I believe I said before. You got to cut the ears off for the rear factory crossmember in order to make room for the diff to drop down. So I got the front diff installed. Plus, you got to trim an ear off of the passenger side on that too. But anyways, I got the front diff back installed. It's got the drop brackets in. It's not fully tightened yet. I got the steering rack back installed, fully hooked up. So that's where I'm at right now. Now I'm getting ready to put the new front cross member in, and then the rear cross member, and then from there we should be able to hopefully fly through it, because that's just a matter of putting just putting control arms back on, knuckle, all that good stuff. So I'll show you, this is where we're at right now. As you can see, green bracket, that's the drop bracket, and steering's back in. There's the new cross member I'm getting ready to put in there. So like I said, everything's loosely installed right now until we get the cross members and all put in, and then we'll go through and we'll tighten everything back up. So that's where we're at right now. There's still plenty more parts to put on it, a few more bags of bolts. Hasn't been too bad so far, other than it being a little cold, and you know, it's a little awkward trying to get like the steering rack, and steering rack really wasn't that bad, but the front diff to do by yourself and, you know, laying on the floor takes a little finagling on it. But between myself and a floor jack and a 4x4, I was able to kind of work it up in there, so wasn't the worst. So let's get back to it, and we'll check back in when I get a little more of the front put back together. Well, got the truck done. It needs detail, does need that, but everything's on it. I think it turned out really, really good. So let me show you around. I don't know if you can see the cross member. It's hard to see right now. The truck's like somewhat in the shade, but when the sun hits on the suspension parts in the front, like it really does like set it off. But the truck come out really good. It's got a nice stance now. But for those of y'all wondering, it's a 2016 Chevy 1500, the Z71. The wheels, they're 24 by 14 KG1 Forged wheels, 35, 1350, 24, radar, the Renegade RT tires, and I've run these tires on my personal trucks in the past before, and they're actually like really good tire. I like them. It's like, 'cause they're not like as noisy or quite as aggressive, I guess, as like a mud train, but they still give you the same like performance, but they last longer, and I think they wear better, in my opinion. Granted that your truck is aligned properly and you don't have worn out suspension parts. And then it's a 7-inch rough country lift that I painted everything this green teal metallic, just like to give it a little more, I guess, of like a show look. So yeah, and then we are running 2-inch spacers in the back, because obviously a lot of times with these trucks the front wheels set out just a little bit more stock. You know, it's not as drastic when they're factory though, but when you put these lifts on with the knuckles, it does push everything out. So before I put the spacers on the back, it was like a very noticeable difference that the front was wider than back. So we're running 2-inch spacers in the rear to even that out. And as you can see now, it sits pretty much perfect front to back. So that's that. you know, didn't really have any real problems during the install. The only thing that did happen that I still have to fix is 2 of the bolts for the sway bar. The factory bolts that went into the frame on the passenger side snapped off, and like, I mean, I tried everything on them. I also tried heating them up. I tried welding nuts on them to try to back them out, because I've had luck with that in the past, and it just kept snapping off. So it's looking like we're probably going to be drilling those out so that I can get the sway bar on. But really, you know, other than that, truck's done. I'm gonna go ahead and try to fix that now, but figure I'd give y'all a walk around the truck, show y'all what was going on with it, and yeah. So if you have any questions about anything, you know, drop them in the comments below. And thanks for watching, and look forward. Now that we got this truck done, now it's time to get to work on the Duramax. We already got some stuff ready for it. I just got to get to it. But anyways, catch you on the next one.